Hey guys, Chauncey Phillips here on the brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday Shellbear today. They're going to go out today, see what things came out, see what things are on sale. I know the big release today, was It, Stephen King's It, and there's a bunch of different, retail exclusive editions of that one. I know Target has a lenticular cover. I know Walmart has one. I'm not 100% sure though on what their one is. I know Best Buy though has the Steelbook for that one. Also, there's a couple other things I'm going to try and find today. It looks like one should be sold in Walmart and should be like, it seems like it's actually a whole bunch cheaper there than it is online or anywhere else. And another one that I don't know if they're going to have the Blu-ray of that one or not, so I'll have to see if Walmart has that, but it looks like Walmart should have the one for sure. Also though, at the end of this video I'm going to have a couple new DVD and Blu-ray reviews for some things I received to review and talk about for you guys, so stay tuned for those at the end of this video. But anyway though guys, let's get going and see what we can find. Into Target we go. And I know I'm going to Target first, and if you've seen the videos recently, this Target like never has this stuff out early, or I don't even know when they honestly get the stuff put out, like the movie-wise, because a lot of times I come in here and there's like nothing out. But I kind of go to the stores though as I come to them, and like as I'm in specific areas, and I would go to Target like at the very, very end, but like it's not in the area that I am, and in that area I'm always like getting like frozen foods and all these kind of things to take home. So that's why I don't do it like last. But I gotta always keep my fingers crossed, maybe because it's a really big release, the stuff will be out, but I have a feeling I'll probably be at a second Target, but hopefully maybe today I'll be proved wrong and the stuff will be in here, but we shall see. And they actually in here have everything put out in here today, and they have, like I said, the big release today was It, and the 4K one here is $29.99 for that one, and then the only at Target edition, which is really hard to show on camera because it's in this kind of case. You can see it a little bit. You see it's like the balloon and Pennywise's face here goes in here. It's actually a really cool one, but very dark and hard to show. Even in person it's very dark, so really hard to see it. Now you sort of see it like this, but this one has in here exclusive packaging with 5 unique postcards in this edition, and then their standard edition Blu-ray is $24.99, so this one is like a little bit more for the lenticular one. And I'm going to have a review of this one at the end of this video, but really, really love this movie. It's a cool edition, but like I said, it's very hard to show this one how it moves, but now you can kind of see it like this. It's Pennywise, and then either in the balloon you see a reflection of Pennywise as well. Other than that though, what released today is a Jackie Chan film, The Foreigner, and that one's $22.99 for the Blu-ray. And then this one was today as well, Friend Request, which I saw that one in theaters and talked about this one, I believe it was like a week or two back. They only have the DVD of this, but I like this movie. I know it's got some negative reviews, but I kind of thought this was a fun, like similar to like the Ring type movie. And one of the other ones today was the movie, they don't have it out here, but was November Criminals. That's one of the ones I wanted to try and find on Blu-ray, but it looks like that's the DVD here for that. But other than that over here, I don't see anything else too different. I know in the kids section over here, they have an exclusive edition of the My Little Pony movie here. This is like the, it has like a bonus activity book and stickers. I never actually watched any of these. The only thing when it comes to My Little Pony that I ever saw, of the newer ones was a documentary, like those Brony documentaries. They're actually pretty good documentaries about like the fandom and stuff. But their edition of that is $19.99 for, their exclusive. And then this one came out today as well, Scooby-Doo and Batman, the Bold and the Brave. They've always done these for years, the Scooby-Doo kind of crossovers when Batman's in them, or like the Three Stooges and a bunch of stuff. But other than that, though, that seems to be all of the major things in here today. But at least in there today, everything was put out for the most part. Like I said, the only one that wasn't out, I think, was Bullet Head and November Criminals, and it looked like it was only the DVD of that one. I don't know if Walmart will have the Blu-ray in store, or maybe they'll have the Blu-ray of that at Best Buy. But at least though, everything was for the most part, like I said, put out today. And sorry I couldn't show that It thing perfectly, but like I said, it's a very dark lenticular image to it, so like even in person it's darker. It's very, very cool image, but definitely is very hard to show on camera. Into the quality resale store we go. So we're going to take a look and see if there's anything in here different today. You know, all the DVDs in here are $2.99 each or 4 for $10. And I have found some decent things in here in the past. Haven't been in here though, probably like 2 months or so. It's been a little while since I've been in here. They have this one in here still, which I believe was out of print, this That's Carry On. I think this is the one I saw this last time. Pretty sure this is like a series of movies. I've never seen any of those ones though. I'm pretty sure that's out of print. But in here though, they have some of the stuff though you see forever. Like I've seen some of these same movies in here probably for the last like 2 years. Like that they kind of never change out. But there are some Blu-rays and stuff in here as well. Maleficent. I don't know what the price of the Blu-rays were. I think they were like $5 or something. They weren't like an absolutely amazing price in here. This is, you know, every time I think of the Three Stooges though, I think this is probably one of the most public domain type things I've ever seen in my life. You know, they've been like the most random releases because for some reason some of the you know, the Three Stooges shorts, like a couple random ones, I think it was like 20 of them or something, you know, were public domain. So you see like so many releases of those same ones and like different sets and stuff. And I don't know exactly how that happened. It was only, like I said, only maybe like 20 episodes or so, or, you know, of the shorts. But you've, you know, seen those in so many different releases, from Good Times to, you know, every company you can imagine. Then I got excited for a second because I thought that this was the limited edition one, because that would have been a really great price for the Return of the Jedi for, you know, only $3. But this is just the standard DVD. I'm always trying to find the one, you know, the versions of the, you know, original series films that have the limited edition ones, that have the discs, you know, that didn't have the changed around effects and stuff like that. I definitely, you know, hope that at some point those ones get like legitimate Blu-ray releases of the, you know, original theatrical versions of the films. It's also always funny to come across these HD DVDs because for some reason, like when these first came out, this is like the one that I went with, and I really thought that these were going to last, the HD ones. I don't know why I was convinced of that. So like I have like, I remember I probably bought like 50 of these, and I only had it for like maybe 4 months before it went out of business. You know, they canceled HD DVD, and I kind of regret why. I don't know why I went with this, but I remember there's this huge format war between, you know, HD and Blu-ray, and there's certain people that were totally convinced that this was going to be, you know, what lasted, and that definitely was not the way that it went. But everything in here is looking pretty much the same. I'm not really seeing anything in here too different here today though, because pretty much been looking through everything in here. This one's a little different, this show Surface, which I don't think I had ever seen an episode of this one. But other than that though, nothing really too different here today. Into Walmart we go. But in here though, it doesn't actually look like there's any exclusive editions for Walmart of it. For some reason I thought online I saw some kind of an exclusive one for it, but I don't know for sure. I don't see anything. Their 4K though is $29.96. Their standard Blu-ray is $24.96. So it seems like it's about the same price everywhere. But this though, I feel like this might be a different cover for the standard DVD of it. I'm not sure. I know sometimes though they have alternate cover art for their editions of, you know, the DVD editions, and they have in here the only at Walmart edition here of the My Little Pony movie, which comes with a like a My Little Pony like water bottle thing in here. So that's kind of cool. That's $19.96 for that one. Like I said too, the other one that came out today was a Jackie Chan film, The Foreigner. But this one is one I definitely want to get. It's only $12.96, and it's a movie called The Pirates of Samoa, and it's, you know, stars Evan Peters, and always a fan of, you know, Evan Peters from, you know, I always mainly think of him from American Horror Story, but this one looks kind of interesting, and it kind of came out of nowhere. You know, Al Pacino's in this movie as well, the one actor from Captain Phillips, and he was also recently in Good Time is in this, but it's only $12.96, and online it's I think like 16 something everywhere, so it seems like it's absolutely the cheapest, you know, getting it in Walmart in person. Other than that though, this one Marshall released. If you guys have seen this one though, let me know how this one is. And Bullethead, which stars, you know, Adrian Brody and Antonio Banderas and John Malkovich, and I really like this movie. It was like these people, these criminals ended up, you know, breaking down in front of this this like broke down in front of this like kind of like warehouse type building, so they go in there and hide out so they can get picked up because they stole all this money. But in there's this rabid crazy dog, you know, attacking them, so it's kind of like a Cujo kind of movie. I reviewed this one recently, but really like this. This was actually pretty good. The other one was Mark Felt, starring, you know, Liam Neeson. That one released today. That one's 1996, and the Bullethead Blu-ray is only $14.96. And I believe this one might have released today, this like Parker's Anchor, and they only have the DVD copy as well for November Criminals. But I don't know if that one's any good or not. If you guys have seen that movie, let me know how this one is. You know, it's Ansel Elgort, you know, from Baby Driver, and Chloe Grace Moritz. And then the TV series Taboo released today as well, and they have the Friend Request Blu-ray here for $14.96. But it's funny in here, like, I don't feel like, until recently, I feel like everything now, for the most part, like 90% of the movies now have been put into these cases, which is kind of interesting, because I don't remember all these ones being in these kind of cases before in the past. So this must be a new thing they're doing, because there's only like very random amounts of ones that are not, you know, in these security type cases things here. But otherwise, I think that one Across the Universe released today on 4K, but I don't see that one in here. They also have these new movie money things here for the new 50 Shades of Grey movie that has like $8 money towards a ticket here, and they're like the black and white editions of movies like Fried Green Tomatoes, Endless Love, Smoking the Bandit. One down there for a Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. So these are kind of interesting ones. They seem to only be, though, the DVD ones of these black and white covers, and I feel like I've seen them do this in the past, maybe for the last 50 Shades of Grey movie, but I can't remember for sure. But I remember I did see these kind of ones where they repackaged them with the new slipcovers. Yeah, but I ended up getting this one in here. Like I said, it looked kind of interesting. I always, you know, a big fan of Evan Peters and like the stuff he's been in. So like definitely one I wanted to check out. Like I said, it kind of came out of nowhere though, especially for an Al Pacino movie though. Like I didn't really hear anything about this till I saw, you know, on like the Blu-ray sites, like release-wise, it was coming out. But the November Criminals one, like I said, it only seemed to have the DVD of that one. So I'm probably gonna have to get that one online. Maybe they'll have that at Best Buy. But like I said too, let me know if that one's any good or not, if you have seen the November Criminals one, and if it's worth picking up. And this past weekend I saw two different films. The first one I saw was Insidious: The Last Key, which is a prequel to the very first Insidious film, and it also shows like the early life of Lynn Shay's character when she's a kid and like when she was haunted in her house, and it's kind of her, there's a new haunting that has happened where she actually grew up, and it's kind of her going back there and kind of dealing with the demons of her past and kind of trying to figure out exactly what happened to her when she was younger, because she kind of like blacked out of her life and stuff. So it's kind of her going back there. When it comes to like a creepiness level though, I thought the movie had like a really creepy vibe all around, but it wasn't like as scary though to me as some of the other ones. And it was weird too, like the one character you saw like in a lot of the trailers, you didn't see, I don't feel like I don't know if they cut her out or what happened, but like I didn't see the one character in the movie unless I totally missed it or it was like a real split second thing in it. But it was a creepy one though. Let me know though what you guys thought of that one if you saw that. The other one I finally got to see was I, Tonya, because it finally opened, and released near me. And, that was about the biopic on Tonya Harding. And I didn't know too much about Tonya Harding and like what had happened. All I really knew was sort of like what I remember hearing in the Weird Al Yankovic song, Headline News. I don't know, that was like really what I always heard the most about Tonya Harding's character, but it was about her. And like it was pretty much about her like young life and how when she was a kid, training for the Olympics, and kind of like her family and her alcoholic mother and all the kind of problems she was dealing with her husband, but it leads up to what she ended up doing about the one who was competing against her in the Olympics, or to get into the Olympics, and she had someone hit her in the kneecaps. And you guys know the story if you've heard anything about it, but that's sort of essentially the plot of it. I thought that was actually relatively well done. I won't lie though, I didn't absolutely love the movie too much. I thought it was well acted and everything. I don't know if it needed to be as long as it was, because the movie was about 2 hours, and I didn't feel like there was a ton of story to fill the whole movie. It was really well acted and everything, like I said, but story-wise, though, there wasn't too much to it to, that it needed to be as long as it was. I just felt like it kind of just seemed a little longer, and they did it all in kind of interviews, and it was kind of weird because like the interview stuff I felt like was supposed to take place like years later, but for some reason they were all still like dressed in real 90s like clothes. It seemed real 90s, but I felt like that would have been more like in the 2000s or something when those interviews were supposed to take place. And I almost feel like they should have just used the real interviews of the real people that it was based on, and then done the reenactment stuff. I don't know, I didn't love it all around though. But if you guys saw either of those ones though, let me know below what you thought of them, or what movies you guys got to see this past weekend. Into Best Buy we go. And they have a big standee over here for It, and it looks like this is the last one because I really wanted to show this for the video. The 4K Steelbook here in the front though, there was none of them left at all. These seem to be going very quickly. It's actually a very cool Steelbook. Really love the image on this one because some Steelbooks I think are cooler than others. This one I think is definitely, it's cool too. It's the 4K edition because they don't always have the 4K one in the Steelbook. But that one though is $34.99 for the Steelbook, so it's $5 more for this one. But I don't know, I feel like this really is a cool image on this. And then the standard Blu-ray here is $24.99. It definitely was cool to actually see this one, and I actually really like this standee they have out here for this as well. But this really was a cool movie though. But in there though, I looked for that November Criminals Blu-ray and I didn't see that in there at all. I didn't see the DVD or anything for that. So it seems like I said, pretty much everywhere just stocked, that did carry it, which was, Target and Walmart. It seemed like they only stocked the DVD of that one. But like I said though, don't know a ton about that one. The trailer looked kind of okay. I saw some mixed reviews for it. So if you guys have watched November Criminals, let me know if that one's worth getting off Amazon or not, if worth picking up. But at least I did see one of the It Steelbooks in there. Like I said though, they only had that one left in there, so it's definitely cool to see that. And I think the Steelbook though is only 4K. I don't think that there's a Blu-ray Steelbook for that one, but not 100% sure on that though. But anyway though, guys, like I always say, if you enjoy these shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Now stay tuned now for some new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. And the first one I got here from Lionsgate. This is a movie that I'm so glad is finally released. This movie is actually finished in 2007. It's only just been released now. It's a movie called Cook Off, and a whole bunch of people appear in this movie. Melissa McCarthy has a part in this movie. She's only in it like 10 minutes, but she's really, really funny in this movie. But there's all kinds of cameos and stuff in this movie. Really, really fun film. If you guys like things like Best in Show and the Christopher Guest kind of films, it has that same style vibe to this. And I really like the intro, like the opening credits. They were done sort of like Napoleon Dynamite style when they're showing like the credits of the characters and stuff, and they did the names and stuff and food dishes and stuff. But the movie is like I said, documentary style one where it's like interviews and talking to the people throughout the movie. And it's about a group of people coming together to go to this competition, which is a food competition, where they're it's for a company that is like a meat substitute, vegetarian company, and they're all going to do this cooking competition, and it follows around the characters who are all competing to try and win the $1 million prize. And it's sort of just like all these wacky kind of characters, and these two sisters who are working with the one's husband, and they're all kind of competing against each other. And it's like all these kind of wacky, weird characters and strange stuff going on when they're cooking. Melissa McCarthy though, her stuff is hilarious because she's someone who comes to the competition late, so she's arguing her way into the whole thing and saying oh, you're gonna let me cook. And her husband, who she's been in a lot of movies together with, he actually plays her husband in this. And it was early Melissa McCarthy, so it was before Bridesmaids and all that kind of stuff. So I think at that point, I don't think she had done too many comedies or really known comedy things. I know she was on the Gilmore Girls and stuff like that, but it's fun to see a really early thing that she was in. But like I said, this was to me just a really fun, I really like those Best in Show kind of movies, and this one, like I said, is all done like a food competition, and I always watch a lot of those kind of things on Food Network. So I thought, I don't know, I definitely thought this was a fun movie. Has on here though deleted scenes, outtakes, and then a a featurette on the making of this movie. But like I said, if you like those kind of movies, definitely give this one a chance here. The next one here, Warner Brothers sent over a free copy of this one to check out, and I saw this one in theaters as well. And I also did a parody of this movie too. If you guys have not seen that one, I'll put a link below with this one as well to see. But that is the brand new It, and this is the 4K Ultra HD edition of It. This movie though, it was on my list too for one of my favorite movies of 2017. This really was an amazing, well put together, well done movie. I thought too, like they really did a great job too in the casting of the kids, because that's the one thing too, especially since this one is different than the original It from the 90s, the early 90s, because that one was done as a TV movie, and they had like the kids and the adult segments, and they kind of cut back and forth a couple times. Mainly was the kids in the first segment. The second segment was all the adults for the most part, but there still was like some here and there. This one though, this follows only the kids, and then I think it's like a year and something from now, part 2 will come out, and I don't even think they've announced yet who's playing the adult roles of the kids. I don't think so. But if you guys don't know the story of It, it's basically about this clown that's terrorizing these kids, and the one's brother, Georgie, gets killed and eaten by It. And then it's like this town is all kind of being, the kids are getting killed by this evil clown. It's a group of friends who kind of come together and like of hopes of trying to destroy It, and it deals too with like all of their own problems at home and all this kind of stuff. But they did an amazing job too. I'm really glad that they made this movie rated R, because it definitely made it really creepy. Even though the original one would probably be more of like a PG-13 now, still I found that one very creepy. But Bill Skarsgård did an amazing job, and did a different kind of take on Pennywise. Instead of like kind of imitating what Tim Curry did, he kind of brought his own like version of the character in. And this movie too on 4K, if you guys do have 4K, would recommend that, because this one is a really like dark, high contrast movie, so it definitely benefits in 4K with the HDR, because it really boosts the colors and the levels of the contrast to this movie. But on here though, it has, I think it's about 15 minutes of deleted scenes. Some of them were deleted, some of them were like extended scenes, like some added on things. There's even like a funny like alternate like goof take they did of Georgie, what happens to Georgie. And then there was 3 different featurettes on here, talking about the kids working on the movie, with Bill Skarsgård playing It, playing Pennywise character. But really was great. If you guys haven't seen this one, most definitely one I would recommend checking out for sure. Next one I got here is from Screen Media, and I really loved the first movie. The second one was okay, but the first one though, I really always liked the movie. I'm not going to talk about the director, because there's a lot of stuff in the past and stuff. I'm not going to get into all the stuff with that, but I'm going to talk about the actual movie, what I thought about the film. And I know this has had some negative reviews, but this one here is Jeepers Creepers 3. But to be honest though, I actually kind of thought it was actually a pretty decent movie, for the most part. Nothing was like absolutely perfect in this. I really liked the one actor in here who's the cop. It's basically though about the the creeper now, this takes place right after the first movie. He's now on the run going to another town, but the cop in this, I always was a fan of that guy. I think he like retired in like the early 2000s and has just recently come back to acting again. But he was in like the Sinbad movie, House Guest, and he was like playing the tattoo guy in that, and he was in a bunch of different movies in the 80s and stuff, but always really liked him. But this is basically though about the creeper going to a new town, and it's about the cop, these 2 cops going and try and track him down to try and finally stop him. And the thing that was interesting about this one though was I felt like it took place way more during the day, because like the other ones, the creeper was out in the day, but you didn't see him that much. In this one, you really see him a lot of detail and stuff, like in most of the kills and stuff are during the day. I think probably like 80% of this movie is actually during the day. Meg Foster's in this movie, and it's like her granddaughter is kind of being, preyed upon and like followed by the creeper. But there were some pretty good deaths and stuff in this, and they actually focused too a lot more on the creeper's van in this, because in the first movie you saw the van a lot, you saw it like driving around, but this one they kind of show inside of it. They show like the van has like these traps in it, so if you try and mess with it or get inside, there's these traps and these things that fly out of it, and I kind of like that aspect to it. And also the kills and stuff were pretty good in this as well. But like if you guys like the other 2 movies, like are a fan of this series, I think it's still worth checking out. Like I said, said, I know it's gotten some negative reviews, and I'm really, like I said, just judging this on the movie itself. It's not perfect all around or anything, but it was, to me, I felt like it was kind of like a more of a throwback feel, like of an 80s slasher film, and there was some pretty good aspects of this as well. You know, and the person who composed the music in this as well, Andrew Morgan Smith, and you know, he did the music in the movie that I was in, Ghostquake, and Ghost Shark. So it was really cool that he got to do the music in this. And Dave Davis, you know, who was in Ghost Shark, I was in Ghost Shark with. He's in the beginning of this. It's one of the cops that gets like messed with in the car and in the creeper's van and stuff. But if you're a fan of these ones, definitely check this one out. And the next one here, and I'll put a link where you guys can get this one, you know, for the best price. And this is the Tim Allen, Kirstie Alley film, For Richer or Poorer. And I always forget that this was filmed. A lot of this was filmed in Maryland. Pretty much all of it was, because I'm originally from, you know, the area in Maryland. So it's kind of cool looking back on this, but I always really liked this movie. I remember when this first came out, I remember like with the VHS and stuff too. I was watching this one all the time because always have been a fan of Tim Allen from, you know, like the Santa Claus and, you know, Christmas with the Cranks, you know, which came later. And I always like these kind of Amish movies. I think my favorite movie with like Amish scenes in it is Kingpin. This was kind of around the same time as Kingpin, I think like a year later or 2 years later. This is essentially though about this couple who, like their money had all been screwed up by the person in charge of their money, and they're kind of being like come after by the government for like stealing money and like looked like they were stealing. And they're both of them though are having like a bad relationship and bad marriage, and they're having all kinds of arguments all the time, not getting along, like kind of on the verge of getting divorced, but they don't know what to do. And they come with the idea of going and hiding out in an Amish community, and they kind of pretend like they're from another Amish village coming through to visit, and they come there, and it's kind of like them as like this fish out of water story, having to blend in there. And Kirstie Alley's character is like they're both having to get up early in the morning and having all kinds of terrible situations and awkwardness with the other Amish people that they're having to blend in with. And just a really fun, kind of wacky, ridiculous movie. Like I said, I've always been a fan of this movie, so really glad that this one has got a Blu-ray release. And it's, you know, it's through the manufacturer on demand line that, you know, Universal has started doing. So I'm hoping that they do like Problem Child 2 and stuff like that through this line. And the next one here from Fox, and this is one of those movies too that made it on my list for my favorite movies of 2017. So I was really happy they sent over a copy of this one to let you guys know about. This one is like really was a great movie. It's called Patti Cakes, and it's basically about this girl who really wants to be a rapper, and she's like always making her own music, and she's kind of having problems with her mother. Her mother is a really bad alcoholic, and you know, the mother is constantly giving her problems about her life and kind of trying to bring her down and making fun of her and making fun of her music and giving her all kinds of problems about what she's doing and saying what she's doing is a waste of time and stuff, and she should just get a regular job and not worry about this kind of music and stuff. And it's sort of about her and her grandmother. And her grandmother is you know, was from the movie But I'm a Cheerleader, and the movie, you know, the Dan Aykroyd movie Neighbors. She was in a bunch of different stuff, but I always really like her. She was great in this movie. And it's basically about her going and meeting this guy and these group of these people to try and work on her music, and the grandmother kind of comes along and helps. And she's like, there's this great thing when she's going P, B, and J, P. I don't know, it's a really, really fun movie. It should have gotten some nominations, to be honest, for the acting. Like, it was a really, really good movie. And it's one of those movies that totally went under the radar. I feel like hardly anyone saw this movie. It's a shame that when movies like this that are really, really great movies and no one really sees them. I don't think this one even was sold really in many stores. I don't remember really seeing it. You know, you guys can get this on Amazon online and stuff, but check out the trailer for this movie. This movie, honestly, was such a great movie about her trying to, you know, take her music off, and she wants to get it, you know, work on her album so she can play at this concert and try and get it, like, seen and, like, you know, make something with herself and, like, show her mother that she can do this. But you know, highly, just an amazing, really well written, well acted movie. The woman who plays the mother too was so good in this. It's funny too, the main girl in this is like in Lady Bird, and she's in it for like 3 seconds. And I remember, I don't know, I just thought it was really cool. She just pops in Lady Bird real quick. I feel like she might have had some scenes cut, you know, in Lady Bird. Maybe she was in it more, or maybe they just, you know, kept her in it because it was like a really quick thing in Lady Bird. And I feel like they kind of knew how great this movie was. They're like, we got to keep her in there for a second. But definitely check this out. It has on here, though, a bunch of featurettes on this one, a commentary track with the director, music video, thing on here about making the music. These ones, you know, are available as well from Fox. And this is the Family Guy, the complete season 16 here DVD. This is the show too. I have not watched all the episodes of the show, but I remember like early on though I had saw like I think up until like season 4 or so I saw like every one of them. But recently though, this is always on at the gym, so I'm usually always watching it. So this actual season I watched pretty much every single episode of this one. This one had on here though too like a behind the scenes kind of episode that they did. It was actually a pretty fun kind of one. I don't know. I like I think Family Guy can sometimes be hit and miss, but they can actually sometimes have some pretty funny stuff in them. But this one's available, and this one has on here deleted scenes, a tribute here to Carrie Fisher, and an Adam West tribute as well. And this one here is a complete 4th season of The Strain, and this is like about a virus going on. And I'm pretty sure Guillermo del Toro, I think, was the producer of this, I believe. But this is one show though I've only like seen episodes here and there of this show, but it is a pretty cool show from from what I've seen of this. But just want to let you guys know that this one is available. This one has on here deleted scenes, a gag reel, and a featurette here on the show. The next one here from Paramount and CBS DVD, and this is a complete series set here of the TV show Girlfriends. And this is, like I said, the complete series of the show. This show aired, it was from 2000 to 2008, and I think it was on, from what I was reading, on the CW, or I think it might have been UPN at the time, and then it became the CW, and then originally it was like, I think, the WB. But I never had actually seen this show before, and I was watching through this. The main actress in the show is on the show Blackish now. This is actually kind of a fun show. Like I said, it's the entire series. The show went, like I said, for how many seasons did it go? It went, I think it was 7 seasons that it went, but it's like all the discs in here like this, and it's just the it's the original discs and stuff, in a new set from when this came out years back, and has like a book in here too about some of the other like complete series sets and stuff that are out from CBS. But like I said, the show is basically though about a group of these friends, and it's kind of like they all kind of come from different areas of life. Like the one like kind of owns her own business or works at this kind of high profile business, and it's basically about her and her friends, and kind of like their problems with relationships, and like the people that they're dating, or there's stuff happening in here too when like the one's dating the same guy that the one had dated in the years back, and they're having all kinds of arguments and stuff, and they kind of have falling outs with each other about certain things or disagreements and stuff. And it's a sitcom show, like a multi-camera sitcom show. But like I said, it's actually a pretty fun show. It has on here, though, all 169 episodes on 25 discs, as well as it has featurettes, some features on here as well, like bonus episodes from the show The Game, which The Game was like a spin-off of this show. And then it has on here some behind-the-scenes stuff, like I said, as well on here, and some stuff like about creating the show. The next ones here are from E1, and this one has Ryan Higa, from YouTube in this one acting. I really like this. I really like these clinical kind of movies, like that have like clinical kind of like drug testing kind of like settings and stuff like that. And this honestly was kind of cool. It wasn't perfect all around, but it was memorable to me, and it's one of those ones I kept thinking about. I'm thinking, this is one of those kind of movies that I kind of really liked some things about this. And it's a movie here called Tell Me How I Die. And Walmart has this one too if you guys want to get this in the store. But it's basically, though, about a group of these people who are going to this, like, sort of, like I said, like a drug kind of clinic place where they do, like, drug testings and stuff. And Ryan Higa's character, like, he's always there taking all these different drug tests. He's been there, like, every week doing other times of tests and stuff. But it's about a group of people who come there to try this new drug where it's supposed to kind of help with memory and like make you kind of remember things that you would have forgotten in the past, and sort of help with Alzheimer's and stuff. So they all kind of come together to take this, to experiment on this new drug. And the thing is, though, they have all these rules. Like once they're in there, they kind of get locked in the building. They can't leave. And this is also during a time when like a snowstorm is coming during like the holidays. So it's going to be a really small like skeleton crew kind of watching the test subjects and stuff. But once they're in there, though, and some of them got like placebos, other ones got the actual drug. The one, like a couple people there start like having like visions of like terrible things happening, and they're having stuff like seeing what they did, like a character like leaves the room, goes to the bathroom, does something else, but then like all of a sudden it snaps and they're back in the same place and they haven't actually left the room yet. So they're like seeing things in the future. One girl is starting to see kind of things of people at this place getting killed and stuff. So it's essentially, though, you know that somebody is coming in there to kill these people and people are starting to die off and stuff. There was some inventive deaths in this. Though one of the best ones involved like this barbed wire. It was kind of making me think of Suspiria a little bit. I don't know, that was actually a pretty good death in this one. You know, Kirby Bliss, you know, who is in, you know, The Green Inferno. She's in this movie as one of the test subjects. I'm always a fan of her. She did a really good job in this one. And I thought Ryan Higa did well as well. I think this is one of his first, like, acting roles in a movie. I think one of the first ones. And he did a really good job as well. Like, he kind of added, like, some comedic relief stuff to this. But honestly, though, to be totally honest, check this out. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I like the setting and I like the whole weird, like I said, clinical kind of vibe to this. And the last one here is from, oh, there's actually one other one as well, but this one is from E1 as well, and this is a movie called Dystopia. And I think this show might be like spinning off to be like a TV series or something. I'm not 100% certain, or if it was a TV series that was turned into a movie, like they cut it down into a film. I'm not 100% certain on that. This is about like in the future though, when like something had happened in there. Everyone was rendered infertile, and it's kind of about like the survivors. They're all kind of like living down in this kind of facility, and there's all these bad people that are kind of coming after them and stuff, and it's sort of them trying to hide out from the people who are kind of coming after them in this world and stuff, or kind of trying to take them out and stuff. It's kind of like deals with all like a virus kind of happening, and Michael Madsen's in this one, and it's kind of like, essentially what it is though is like they found out the way though to travel in time, and these guys want to go and like go back in time and kind of stop this virus that was being released and like kind of the downfall of society. So they're trying to go back, but then like the other people kind of coming after them and trying to stop them along the way. It was kind of making me think a little bit like in like a slight way of that show Sliders a little bit. But if you guys like those kind of like time travel, kind of trying to save the day and kind of fix problems and stuff, check this one out here. The last one here, this is a sequel, and I felt like I kind of remembered the original one of this from years back. But this is a movie, I only have the disc of this, and it's a movie called Surge of Power, Revenge of the Sequel. And this is one of those movies that was kind of thing that was funny about this movie was, when it comes to like, you know, cameo type movies like Sharknado, when, you know, where there's like tons and tons of celebrity cameos, this one goes down as probably being like one of the king of cameos. It's like Linda Blair is in this. They filmed a whole bunch of stuff at like conventions and stuff. This is about a superhero that's supposed to be like considered like the first gay superhero, and it's kind of like his, you know, evil villain from the first film. I never saw the first movie. I remember seeing like pictures of it. I distinctly remember it, but it's kind of like the evil villain is like out of jail. It's kind of him like planning his attack on going after the original evil villain. But throughout this though, like on his car monitor and like on TV, you see all these different celebrity cameos throughout the movie. So that was kind of the fun part, was like seeing all the different kind of cameos and stuff on this one. And I think this one is like on, I think you can see this one like on demand and stuff. It's gonna, you know, it's gonna, no, I think it's gonna, I don't know if it's gonna be on demand or not. I know it's going to be opening on Los Angeles on January 5th, then expand to New York on January 19th. So I guess it's going to be having some limited theatrical, you know, releases and stuff. So definitely, if you guys are interested in seeing this one, I don't know if it's going to be going on demand or any of that kind of stuff, though, for sure. But anyway, though, guys, thanks again for watching, subscribing, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.